Hello and welcome back. In this one, I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about why you need to be training barefoot. Now, before I dive into the topic, I do want to preface things by saying all of these different styles of what you may or may not have on your feet do have a time and place, except for those Nike Air Pump shoes, the things with like the big air pocket right below the heel. I don't think those will ever have a practical use inside of the gym or even outside of the gym. They might look cool, but walking around on those big puffy pillows isn't going to do anything good for your foot health in the long run. And just so you have an idea of the shoe spectrum I'm talking about here, so you can kind of illustrate this picture of everything having its own time and place. So to start, I will go with like the best category, which I consider either being barefoot or wearing Vibram shoes. If you are not familiar with Vibrams, it's basically like a glove for your foot. It has like a rubber sole on it. It goes over each of your toes, and that's the closest thing you're going to be able to have to mimic a barefoot. If I had to give a number 3 ranking out, that would be for grip socks. It's basically, you'll see me wearing them in my videos. And instead of like a regular sock, it's more like a hospital sock. It has that material on the bottom that prevents slipping and sliding. These are going to be your best bet if you're looking for something to give you maximum performance in a public gym setting, just due to the low cost point and ease of use. You just slip the sock on. With the Vibram, sometimes it can be a little weird feeling having all of your toes shoved inside of each separate compartment. I've never used them before, but that is what my friend who has a pair has told me. Now, everything after this, I do have to give a lower rating just because it is not as natural as using your barefoot. This is going to be something like a regular shoe. That'd probably be the lowest rating. I really prefer wide toe box shoes or something like a Converse. You cannot go wrong with a Converse or a wrestling shoe for lifting. Just so low to the ground with a nice hard sole. You're not going to sacrifice stability or performance. And in its own separate category, I can't really rank this one because it has a completely different function than all the other flat shoes that I described before. And this is going to be a wedged shoe or like a squat shoe, something with a heel in it. So this is going to completely change the way your body can squat. For me, it helps me stay a lot more upright and actually use my quads. Otherwise, it's just going to be all hips and back for someone with long femurs like myself. With all of that out of the way, now I can start to discuss the 2 key points on why you need to be training barefoot. Number 1 is going to be that it builds stronger feet, which will keep your ankles and therefore your knees and your hips happy and healthy. When you train barefoot, you are properly applying force into the ground, building up the strength of your arch muscles within your foot, and this is going to prevent all of these issues that tend to arise when you have weak feet. It leads to problems with your ankles and hips because the muscular dysfunctions work their way up through the chain. And your feet are your primary base. So if those are messed up, everything else above is also going to be messed up. So point number 1 directly correlates over to point number 2, actually. This increased strength and therefore posture of the lower body from having strong feet is going to directly improve your performance via increased stability and having better balance. Just think about it. Your foot muscles are able to fire harder. They're able to be in a better position. When you are barefoot, a lot of these smaller muscles of the foot do have to work a lot harder. And if this is a novel stimulus for you, you can see gains within the feet that can directly correlate to your squat. Just imagine, your feet are able to grip into the ground harder, which is going to let you have a better overall brace. And this increased stability will help you push more forcefully out of the bottom of the hole. Now, if you have horrible foot health and bad balance, this is where you can see a lot of times people's knees will cave in, they'll excessively protrude outwards, they'll lose balance and have a slight hip shift. All sorts of issues can arise from having weak feet. And if you are still skeptical about training barefoot, listen to this following comparison and do some deep thinking, and you may reconsider. Now, imagine you're about to go bench press, and you had a choice between wearing thick winter mittens or bare hands. Which would you choose? I know which one I'm going to go with, and that is the bare hand, because it allows your hand to, fully squeeze and apply force as nature intended. Now, if you have some thick, blocky soles on your feet and some thick, blocky shoes, you're not going to be able to use the muscles of the feet as nature intended. Therefore, you're going to reduce your performance. This is why having something with a very minimal, very flat, very hard sole is very crucial if you are in a position where you're forced to be wearing shoes. And as a little bonus tip here, just think about it. Also on bench press, I've noticed increased strength from going barefoot, and especially on the overhead press. Next time you do standing overhead press, I really want you to try out going barefoot, even no socks. I've noticed best results from having nothing on my feet at all. The enhanced feeling of being able to grip the ground, it really increases the whole body stability and prevents energy leaks that really rob you of 1 rep max performance, and especially rep performance on the overhead press. Every time you lose stability, you're losing position, and that's going to affect your force output on every single rep. And with all of that being said, I'm just about wrapped up on this topic. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have you ever trained barefoot before? Make sure to drop a comment down below so we can get a good discussion going. Also, click the other buttons, especially the subscribe, and have a great day.